Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wildcat Nation. Or Wildcat Nation, welcome to here, whatever we're doing today. I'm still eating my cinnamon roll and drinking my coffee from Storytime Coffee right down the street. I'm Will Worsham, here with Keaton the Kid.
Keaton the Kid.
Keaton Garrett. How you doing today?
Super great.
It's been a long time.
Super great Saturday morning. What? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's too bad.
Yeah. As Tom said, I was marmot hunting for 2 weeks.
You were doing something for 2 weeks.
And then he asked, and I'm like, no, I didn't catch anything. So that kind of... Did you catch anything marmot hunting? No, I did not. I didn't catch a thing. It's a very negative experience all around.
Wink, wink.
Winking, wink. Yeah, moving on. We're looking at John chapter 8, verses 1 through 11. It's a famous story. It's when the woman was caught in adultery. It says, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning, he came again to the temple. All the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. The scribes and Pharisees, they're always the bad guys in the story, right? Scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and placing her in the midst, so right in front of all these people, they said to him, Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such a woman, so what do you say? They said this to test him, that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. And as they continued to ask him, he stood up and said to them, Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her. And once more he bent down and wrote on the ground. But when they heard it, they went away one by one, beginning with the older ones, and Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus stood up and said to her, Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? She said, No one, Lord. And Jesus said, Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on sin no more. So what do you think about that, Keaton?
I love how he's just kind of sitting back, writing in the sand, doing whatever, not really paying much attention to them because he's like, this is not of your concern, right? You don't have any power over this or over her.
Right.
And then he kind of just goes at it and really blatantly and clearly states that is not their thing to do, you know?
Well, everybody wants to know what he wrote in the sand, including me. And I don't know that we'll ever know. But that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Some background on this.
Nobody went over and was like...
I think they all were looking to see what he was writing in the sand. But here's the interesting thing about this. So part of the surrounding facts that don't necessarily jump out of the text at you are the fact that at this time, Israel was a subjugated people. They were under Roman rule. It was illegal for them to impose capital punishment themselves. So it wasn't just the juxtaposition here of the morality, the immorality. Is he going to condemn the woman, not condemn the woman? What they were really doing was creating this tension between the Mosaic law that said you have to stone this woman and the Roman law. So if he either follows Mosaic law and stones her, but then if he does that, now he is in trouble with the Romans. But if he follows the Roman law, then theoretically his follower, then he doesn't follow Moses.
Yeah.
He's not the Messiah, because they thought the Messiah was there to overthrow the Roman government. So really this is I'm not even sure they saw the spiritual significance of the situation. I think they saw the political juxtaposition, the political tension they were trying to put him in. But Jesus ignores all that, and he goes straight for the spiritual and cares more about the person than he does the politics.
I think it's so funny. You always think you're on the right side of things.
Yeah.
You never look at yourself like, am I doing something wrong?
Right.
Should it be done differently?
Sure.
They thought that he was coming to help them when in reality...
Well, he was coming to help them,
yeah,
but they didn't see it.
In a different way.
But they didn't see it.
Not the way that they wanted help.
And unfortunately, many of us today don't always see it. But looking at the person, not the politics, maybe is the takeaway lesson for us today as we head into this last little 2 weeks of politics here in the United States. And, it is what it is. It'll be what it'll be, and we'll go on from there. So, big news actually coming out. This is a big deal. I don't know if everybody really stays up on this, but the U.S. government, they filed an antitrust lawsuit against Google, and that is huge. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, the cases in the past have been against Microsoft for the way they forced computer manufacturers to pre-install Internet Explorer back then, which I think Internet Explorer is dead, right?
Surely.
I think it's dead.
If you get on a computer and click on it, it has a seizure on you.
I think it's Safari or Chrome are really the two browsers. I guess Firefox is still floating around out there.
It's trying.
It's still floating.
It's hanging on.
But the antitrust lawsuits. That's what they brought against AT&T back in the day, back before you were born. We used to have one phone company, just like now you.
Oh, Alltel.
Was
it before AT&T? Right?
No, it was Bell, AT&T Bell Telephone.
Bell.
So you had the Bell Telephone Company, Alexander Graham Bell. Just name him. It was considered a utility. So it was like the water company or the fire company. You had a phone company.
Not a premium service.
Well, it was a premium. It was very expensive.
Okay,
for the day, it was very expensive.
Yeah.
Your local calls were free, but if you called from here to Fordland, it was a toll call. It cost you money. And I remember back when it cost money to call. In fact, it used to cost money for me to call Shelby.
Yeah.
When we were dating, it was because I lived.
You're like, is it worth it?
Just over the border. I always thought it was worth it. My dad didn't always think it was worth it. But it was, when I was in law school in Columbia, which that's only been 25 years ago. It was a long distance call.
Yeah, only 25 years.
Only 25 years ago. It was you're not even 25 years old.
Will's really old.
I'm 50 in February. But it was a long distance phone call for me to call from Columbia to Springfield to talk to my fiance back in the day. So yeah, that was a big deal. But they brought this antitrust lawsuit against Bell, and that was actually after they broke them up. It was still that
Bell
way.
and AT&T.
Well, it went to Baby Bell. So you had Pactel, Bell South. You had all these what they call Baby Bells when they broke them up. But it was still regional, so it came up from all of that. But that's ancient history. Nobody cares about. But they broke up U.S. Steel even longer before that. But all these major, what they call them, trusts. Teddy Roosevelt was a famous trust buster. He was known for breaking up these large companies that kind of had a monopoly on what had become essential services. And it's interesting, I think, how essential services change over the years because now we consider a telephone an essential service. 100 years ago, I don't think we would have thought that.
Yeah.
Same thing for other things. But now that's happening to Google. They're basically saying Google's putting a stranglehold on stuff. They were paying phone manufacturers that produce it to make Google the default search engine. You shouldn't do that. There's all kinds of things. So it'll be interesting, but I think it's ultimately going to be a good deal because Google obviously, because of the way Google and Facebook control the conversation now, and we are in the information age if we're not yet in the post-information age, but anybody that controls the flow of communication, I think you almost have to treat like a trust like that. So that's what they're doing. You need to make some extra money?
Oh, yeah.
Always?
Oh, yeah.
You can now. You may have to go to England to get this done, but
That's
you
fine.
can be voluntarily infected with the coronavirus.
Deal. Done.
You're in?
Yep.
I think I'd be in too.
I'll take the side effects too if that makes
sure
extra.
There are any side effects. Why are there never side effects like super strength? It's like X-ray vision.
Climb up walls. Flight.
Yeah, but you can go if you can actually people be.
Then you'd have to pay to get injected.
They're being voluntary. I think they get paid. Yeah, but it's a drug trial.
Well, if you got if flight or super strength or something.
Oh yeah,
then
I would pay for that.
Oh yeah,
that would be different. But you can go, and they're doing it in England. If you, it's a drug trial for the vaccines. You get voluntarily, you get infected with the coronavirus, and I think the benefit to that would be is, I'm looking at all the data now, and I understand people have died from it. I'm not denying that some people have died from it. I don't think as many people have died from it as being reported. I'm just hearing too much about hospitals getting paid extra for calling deaths COVID deaths. I'm just hearing personal people. I can look them in the eye and they tell me about that. But so many people I know have had it and had extremely mild symptoms. Or none. I know someone that got the blood antibody test, had never been sick, and they come and say, "Oh yeah, you've had it. You've got the antibodies."
Yeah.
And never even felt they were sick. So they may have been typhoid Mary spreading it. I don't know, but at any rate, I think if all you have to do is get it and then you're immune. Well, that sounds like a vaccine to me.
Get it?
Sign me up. We'll take that. So there it is.
I'm fine with it. I probably got it. I'm pretty strong.
You think you
probably
got it?
Yeah, I didn't even have any problems.
Okay.
So what do they do to get infected or have the corona? Do they have some person with
They
it
have-
come breathe into your
yeah,
mouth.
Yeah, somebody
they just-
sneezes on your face.
Yeah.
I'm assuming is the way that works. But
They put one of those dog cones from you to the other person. 10 minutes of breathing, mouth open. That would be horrendous. So, lots of new businesses in quarter three. 3.1 trillion new businesses have filed for a business license in quarter three this year. That's
Nice.
two
That's good.
times as high as last year.
Well, that's good.
So what I'm thinking is, one route, are people filing for a new business and not really doing much and just trying to get money out of it? Coronavirus relief.
Well, that's
money?
interesting. All the clients I've helped with that, they want to go back. They want to see your 2019 revenues.
Okay, so
So most new businesses aren't eligible for that.
it's probably people trying to make it and coming up with other ways to get income if they were laid off or
People do-
hours cut.
People do crazy things when they're in quarantine, like start internet-based TV stations called K-ROG.
What a weird thing
What a
to do.
weird thing to do. But you can't say nothing good came out of coronavirus because here we are in K-ROG.
But I mean, I've seen lots of businesses either kind of switching directions and adding a new facet onto their business or creating a new branch off of it. Just
All right, since you bring this up, this is something that
you don't have another business now, do you?
it's not another business.
Okay.
But here's the deal. I've been working on this, and I was not really going to roll it out yet, but you've
Ooh, I've done it.
done it. Okay,
This
so
is a K-ROG exclusive with
It-
Will Worsham.
Actually, that is. This is a K-ROG exclusive, and all 2 people watching right now are going to be able to take advantage of it.
My mom
Your mom
and somebody else.
somebody else. So here's the thing. I've been doing estate planning now for 4 or 5 years. That's kind of what I've delved into, and I'm a little bit of an innovator, if I can say that about myself.
I like that you say it about yourself.
I kind of have a track record.
That Will Worsham guy, innovator.
I kind of have a track record. Trusts for estate planning, having a revocable living trust is just the Cadillac. I mean, it really makes things easy. Wills and other things like that, they get the job done, but a trust is really what you want. But
What's the difference between a will and a trust?
The main difference between a will and trust is a will has to go through probate court. So a judge has to sign off on everything you do. It's public.
Before you die?
No, after you die.
After you die.
After you die, and it's public. Everything you do, everything you give to everybody is public record. Anybody can see it. All your creditors can come in and make claims against your estate. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's public. And a will does not change that. People think it does. But so a trust avoids all of that, right? Mm-hmm. Lawyers charge, and I charge for our premium services thousands of dollars, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. People pay $2,000 and $3,000 for trusts. Mine are a little more on the more inexpensive side of that. Anyway,
If you mention this video, Will do it for $300. So just keep that in mind.
you're almost right. What I will do, what I've been working on is most people have a very simple estate plan. If I die, I want my spouse in control. Mm-hmm. When my spouse dies, I want my kids to get it. Just split it even between the kids. That's what most people want. And so what I've done is I have spent a lot of time and effort and energy. I want to put that up front. This wasn't just like easy.
Yeah.
Because I've actually got a huge money investment in the software to make this happen, to make all my trusts happen. So I can't do it for $300. But what I will do, I'll do it for our K-ROG people, I'll do it for $1,000.
There we go.
And I'll finance it.
What does that mean?
That means I'll let you pay.
you'll let 'em
like,
pay in
I'll let you
installments,
You can pay
kind
by like a little bit a week, a little bit a month, and I'm still thinking about the details of this, but I'm thinking about doing what I call a lifetime trust plan. And that'd be one where you never pay a big upfront amount of money. You just maybe it's like $50 a month. And what we'll do is we'll keep electronic copies of your trust, and later you want to change it, we'll just change it. We'll just change it.
You don't have to pay again.
You don't have to pay
necessarily.
again.
Yeah,
you need you decide now you want to make an extra gift to those grandkids. You want to give them $500 a piece and then split it. You want to make that change 5 years down the road. We can do that. Mm-hmm. And if we do a lifetime trust, and I'm making up numbers here because I really wasn't quite ready to do this. But you talk.
I forced them into it.
Well, the problem is I get really excited about
Yeah.
stuff like this, and I always roll them out ahead of time. But if you want to take advantage of that, K-ROG listeners, just get in touch with me. Send me a private message on Facebook or something, or just send it to K-ROG or whatever. Probably don't put it in the comments because then everybody knows what's going on. I don't
Put
care.
all of your information in the comments.
Just
Social security number,
just put it right in the
credit
comments.
card
Don't
number.
do that. We're not encouraging you to do that. We want to be really
Wink,
clear.
wink.
Don't do that. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I've been wanting to do that for the Rogeville people. I've been talking to some people already about making that happen. But that's something I want to do. So if you want to take advantage of this, just get your stuff in order. Have the best possible vehicle for distributing your stuff. Stays within your family, goes to your kids. Hit me up, and we'll do it. We'll do it at a really, really economical price for what it normally goes on.
So a will, some estranged cousin or something could come in and fight whatever. They said they have claim to that or something,
It wouldn't
right?
be likely.
Yeah, but that's possible.
It's a possible. It's public. The thing is, it's public, and it takes a while. You have to get court dates. You have to have hearings. You have to do all of that stuff. With a trust, you just come in. You could just go to a lawyer's office and get it done, or you could the trustee could just go, no, I can read this trust. I know how it works, and so we can make it really, really easy. Okay?
Yeah.
So last thing we'll talk about today. I'm kind of sick of hearing about them fighting about the stimulus package in Washington, D.C. First of all, I'm not entirely sure it's the right thing for the government to do, but we are so far down that road of giving away government money to people, which I sort of abhor anyway. But the problem we're having right now is that you've got one side that just says, my stimulus plan is we're going to write a check to every American taxpayer for $1,200. That's the plan.
Yeah.
The other side is, no, we're going to write a $1,200 check to everybody who's in the borders, whether they pay taxes, don't pay taxes, here legally, here not legally, and we're going to fund Planned Parenthood, and we're going to give money to this, and we're going to give money to that, and it's tying all this other stuff to it. And then they're saying, well, the president,
and they're sneaking stuff, other stuff in,
and then they're saying, well, the president won't sign off on a stimulus plan. Well, he will,
just
long as it's just a stimulus plan.
Yeah.
So disinformation out there on that issue. So I hope everybody sees through on that. Let me ask you one last question, because a lot of people, this is very confusing for people, and I know what I think. I want to see what you think. Amendment 3. Are you up on that? That's the one about the gerrymandering, deciding the state cartographer versus governor commission. And so you got people saying you need to vote no on 3, or else you're undoing what we did in 2018. And you've got other people saying, yeah, we need to undo what we did in 2018. So what we have right now, based on 2018, is one person, a state cartographer, who someone has stenciled on their forehead, nonpartisan, because, that...
Nobody's nonpartisan.
What did you say?
What?
I think you said no one is nonpartisan.
Did that come out of my mouth?
I think it came out of your mouth. I think it did. So that's what we have right now. And the proposed map is really interesting, because it's very gerrymandered, if you know the term gerrymandering. Basically, it carves Springfield out of everything else so that Springfield will get to elect its own House of Representatives rep to the U.S. district, as opposed from the rest of Southwest Missouri, which obviously Springfield's more likely to elect a Democrat. So why would someone do that?
Because you want another Democrat.
Because they want another Democrat, right? So,
which is fine.
It's really
if
not.
somebody wants another Democrat, that's fine.
It's really not, Keaton. But that, even if you did, that's not the way to go about it.
Yeah.
So what amendment?
Yeah, you can't pick and choose this area, right? And then
Right.
this whole area,
gets
is one person.
Yeah, gets one person. So, and it's supposed to be based on population density, and I get that. So what Amendment 3 does is it puts in the Constitution the old way of handling legislative districts, which is the governor nominates people to be on a commission, and then they have to be approved, right? So it's the whole checks and balances system, and that's what Amendment 3 does. Is it puts it back that way. So I'll be voting yes. Is the way I'm going to vote on that. And it took me a while to suss through all of that and figure it out, because the language is always interesting on that. But
interesting.
But for me, it's a yes on Amendment 3, and I guess if other people have different opinions, that's okay. Happy to discuss it in a calm, rational manner anytime they want. We going to be back tomorrow?
What's tomorrow?
Thursday.
Sure.
Okay, we'll do this again tomorrow. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate you being here.
Have a happy Monday.
Have
what?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.